everybody. So recently I had a friend ask me what superhero role-playing game they should be running. They only are really familiar with D&D, and so I decided to put together a slideshow for them to show them what you could possibly run as a superhero RPG. So I wanted to show those to you today. So, here's my slideshow. So you want to be a superhero. It's easy to do. There's lots and lots of games. Actually, as I was creating this, I kept finding more and more games. I'm familiar with a lot of them. I've played a lot of them. But there's a lot of others that I haven't ever played or even heard of. So let's get into it. So, he specifically is looking at running a game that is going to be DC superheroes. So there's been a huge variety of superheroes games over the years, most notably the Marvel Superheroes RPG. Everybody talks about it. It's a really straightforward system. It uses percentile dice. And then, like I say here, closer to our conversation, the the DC Heroes RPG. This one uses a pretty drastically modified version of the West End Games D6 system. Both systems have their charms. They're really outdated, if even only for the art. That can be a big issue in trying to get people into your game when this is all like, 70s and 80s art, things like that. So let's go ahead and start looking at different games. We've got Tiny Supers. It's a super rules light superhero RPG. It uses the Tiny D6 system, which is a nice simple system. I really like the D6 or the Tiny 6 system, how that works. It's easy to learn and play, suitable for all ages because anybody can get into it with how simple it is. There's an emphasis on quick, narrative-focused gameplay, and it's ideal for introducing new players to superhero RPGs or any RPG in general. The Tiny D6 system is just so nice and simple and easy. I highly recommend it to anybody trying to teach somebody else how to play a role-playing game. Then we've got Bash. This is one I haven't heard of before. It uses a 2d6 dice system for action resolution. It balances detailed character creation with easy-to-learn mechanics. It's got a flexible power system allowing for a wide variety of superhero abilities. It's suitable for both beginners and experienced players. It provides a comprehensive rules for combat, skill use, and superpowers. And it's ideal for one-shots or long-term campaigns with superhero themes. You can play pretty much anything with it. Pretty straightforward. Then we've got Truth and Justice. This is another one I hadn't heard of before. It uses the PDQ system, which is the Prose Descriptive Quality system, which is a system that's another pretty simple, straightforward system, emphasizing narrative-driven gameplay and character development. It's very flexible in terms of its powers and abilities, and it's got a really nice, quick, and easy character creation system. It's great for players who enjoy role-playing and collaborative storytelling. Then we've got Astonishing Superheroes. This is like the third in a row. Never heard of before, so I had to look into it. It is a really simple, straightforward system. It's got a really flexible power creation system, allowing for a really wide variety of superhero abilities. It supports all different kinds of superhero genres, from street level to cosmic, so it's a pretty versatile system. Then we've got Anyone Can Wear a Mask. This one is great because you can play it solo. It's a really, really simple system. It's great for narrative-driven storytelling, and it allows the players to explore the journey of their hero and their city. There's no GM, so the players all together are sort of building everything out. If you were playing a game in either the Marvel and DC universe, you can use this because you're already going to kind of have answers to your questions about the setting filled in for you. So it's really great for personal reflection and collaborative play. Then we got Paragons and Prowlers and Paragons. It's a narrative-focused superhero RPG. It uses a D6 dice pool system for action resolution. We're going to be looking at some more action or dice pool systems later on. It emphasizes storytelling with flexible rules. Character creation is nice, quick, and customizable. And it also supports a pretty wide variety of superhero genres. Then we've got Masks. I do have Masks. It's a good system. It uses the Powered by the Apocalypse. It is focusing on young superheroes discovering their identity, so great for Young Avengers, great for Young Justice, things like that. And then you have all different kinds of superhero archetypes and the playbooks all representing all of those. Then we've got icons. This one's been around for quite a while. Steve Kenson ended up working on this one, who also worked on Mutants and Masterminds. It uses the icons rule light system, and you can use random or point-based method for making your characters. You can just completely randomly roll up your entire character, and it's great for one-shots and ongoing campaigns. Then we got Mutants and Masterminds. This one is the classic. It's been around since the early 2000s, I think. This is the second edition cover. I think they're in their third edition now. I played first and second edition, and it uses the D20 system. That's probably the closest Super RPG to D&D's mechanics, if that's what you're most familiar with. And it's a really, really robust system. There's so many different supplements that give you basically options to do anything, which is pretty great. Then DC Adventures. This is, again, with my friend who's just beginning to branch out from D&D. DC Adventures uses the Mutants and Masterminds system, and it's all about the DC superheroes. So it's super detailed for all of the abilities. You don't actually need Mutants and Masterminds to play this. You can play this without that. This is just using Mutants and Masterminds for the rules. Then we got Smallville. Smallville it uses the Cortex system, which is the same as Marvel Heroic, which we'll get to in a second. But it really emphasizes relationships. So it doesn't really matter so much that your characters have superpowers. Their superpowers are there. But the thing that really matters and is really interesting is the fact that it is all about relationships. So you build, when you're making your character, you're building your relationships between all the other characters and the NPCs in town. It works really, really well as like a Scooby-Doo or a Riverdale type thing as well, just avoiding the superpowers. But as far as superpowers go, it still works for that, and you can make some really interesting games where you've got everybody's relationships matter a lot, which is really cool. Then we have Marvel Heroic. This is the RPG that I worked on. I worked on 2 of the books for Marvel Heroic, and then I've also got marvelplotpoints.com, where we continue to make new stuff. We're currently working our way through the X-Men 97 data files. It used the Cortex Plus. It used the Cortex system. I said Cortex Plus here, but this came before Cortex Plus. It's a dice pool mechanic, so you're steadily adding dice to your dice pool too, and then you're rolling all of them and then picking and choosing which dice you're going to be using from that pool, which is really cool. It is fast-paced, it's cinematic, there's a lot of collaborative storytelling and character-driven plots in there, and then there's pre-made events based on famous Marvel storylines, so you can play a bunch of different storylines, and generally you're playing the iconic characters of Marvel. You can make your own characters, but most people end up playing the characters from the comics. Then we got Sentinel Comics. This is sort of the creators of Marvel Heroic then moved on and you did Sentinel Comics. So this is sort of an evolution of it. It's not technically Cortex, but it has its own dice pool mechanics and things like that. Works very differently, but is very, very cool. I really love the way it works. The character creation is super flexible. It comes with a bunch of pre-made characters that you can play as well. And as the battle progresses, your character's abilities will change just based on the environment, which I thought was really cool. Then we've got Spectaculars. Spectaculars is probably one of my favorites. I've got it right up there. It's a big box. And you've got plastic like trays for your character sheet to go onto, and they've got different cards. It uses a percentile system. It's super interchangeable, and then the players create the superhero universe as you play. So it'll get to a page and it'll ask you to start just deciding how the minions of this supervillain work and whether they're really fast or there's lots of them or they're very strong, things like that. It's really, really cool. It's a very, very cool system. Like, I highly recommend this. I don't think I would recommend it necessarily for a game that's taking place in an already established universe. Like, you really want to be creating your own universe with this, but it's very, very cool. Then the hero system. So the hero system and champions is part of it, is a really, really detailed role playing game. There's a ton to it. It's very versatile, but like character creation is going to take you hours as you're making your hero, giving them all kinds of flaws and advantages and things like that. It uses it's point based, so you're picking and choosing little points that you're going to be using along the way, which is pretty cool. And oh, that's the end of my slides. So there is a lot of different options you have when you're going to be playing a superhero role playing game. I didn't even cover everything. There's a whole nother Marvel RPG that they created, Marvel themselves created back in the day. There's also the Marvel Multiverse, which just came out not too long ago. I haven't had a ton of time to delve into it, despite the fact that I own like all the books that are available for it. I even own the Free RPG Day supplement that ended up coming out on Free RPG Day a couple weeks ago. So there's a lot of options out there. And if you're interested in getting into superhero role playing games, there's so many different ways you can do so that it's definitely worth checking out and exploring what the world of superheroes has to offer. So I'm Mark, this is Dice Monkey, and thanks for watching.